Hi there, my name is Jim Dooley. I'm chairman of the fundraising of the Bomber Command Memorial Fund. I've been in that position more or less since day one, which is exactly 4 years ago today, when we all met at RAF Hendon, myself and Robin Gibb, Sir Michael Beetham, Tony Iveson, Doug Radcliffe, and a whole team of guys with a view to starting a campaign to raise the money for the Bomber Command Memorial. I'm very, very proud and privileged to be standing right now in front of the RAF Bomber Command Memorial, a monument to 55,500 young volunteers who paid the ultimate sacrifice in freeing Europe between 1939 and 1945 from enemy tyranny.
So Douglas Radcliffe of 425 Alouette Squadron, here we are on a beautiful spring day in London, and we're seated right next to the magnificent Bomber Command Memorial that's being built as we speak. Well, tell us about the amazing things that have happened since you started.
Well, it came from all walks of life. Ordinary people, mostly. I mean, the first year, Vivian Hammer, the registrar, opened some 80,000 letters, all contributing. And we were backed by stars of stage, screen and radio from the Heritage Foundation. We were backed by industry, but mostly from ordinary people, from the Commonwealth everywhere. And we banked the first million in that year, coming in from everybody. And on my desk, I've got a 2p coin stuck onto a little gift aid voucher, where a little girl, her father had already donated a considerable sum, but she had to get in on the act and sent 2p, and I've got that on my desk today. Always reminds me of how other people feel about it.
This memorial is erected on behalf of the 55,573 young volunteers who paid the ultimate sacrifice between 1939 and 1945, serving the RAF on bombing missions in Europe. And included in that total of 55,500 is over 10,000 young Canadians. And Canada played a significant part in helping Britain and the Allies to secure the ultimate victory.
I am Liam O'Connor. I'm the architect and designer for the Bomber Command Memorial. Today we're having a little look at construction progress on the site, with just under 15 weeks to the completion in mid-June, and looking at the structural stonework underway, the innovative stone entablature details over the Doric porticos to the loggia, which defines the central main mass of the memorial.
How much work is involved in something like this?
We've excavated about 1,000 tons of Portland stone, real Portland stone that is, from the Isle of Portland in Dorset, just off the south of England. We've got an extraordinary, consistent quality of material to use, which is very lucky, because not every project gets that. And we have probably one of the best stonework manufacturing firms I've ever worked with, applying a level of dedication and skill and high tolerance work that I haven't seen on any modern stone structures, certainly in my career.
Yes, this here's all Portland stone. A lot of London is Portland stone. Probably this is why they went for Portland stone in this job here as well. It ties in with the rest of all the buildings, and it's over in Portland Island, and the stone goes to Ireland and into the factory there and carved out. You see the way that went in and brought here on site.
It fits perfectly.
And it fitted perfectly, it did, yes.
Are you proud to be here right now?
Absolutely proud to be part of the Bombers Memorial, indeed, really proud. so many young men give their lives that we could have the freedom we have today. And I think it's a very worthwhile memorial. Long time it coming, but it's a great achievement that is here.
Does this give you a feeling of pride to be standing here right now in this box and looking out over it?
It does. There's an immense feeling of pride for me, my team and my office, the structural engineers and the rest of the professional team that have been involved in making this happen. And it is a big team. And it's such an unusual project to be doing in such a prestigious location at the beginning of the 21st century. One of the central concepts of the memorial was that we had a figure group on a plinth in the centre of the memorial. That sculpture group really dictates in many ways the proportions and dimensions of the internal central space of the memorial. The 7 aircrew figures gathered together, huddled together on a porphyry plinth in cast bronze at 9 foot high will probably be one of the most remarkable modern sculptures in the public realm in London in many decades. And I think arriving from Piccadilly through the loggia, not quite understanding what's about to hit you, I think the impression visitors will get when they arrive is one of awe. And that's what we hope will be achieved. And once you're inside the memorial, you don't see the faces of the figures. You have to engage with the memorial, move around it, and move to the south side of it before you see the expressions on their faces and understand who they are and feel the full emotional power of that extraordinary set piece.
For all of our audience, I need to state the fact that on average, only 1 in 4 airmen of Bomber Command finish their tour.
Yeah, that's so. That's the terrible statistic. But at last they're being honoured.
Yes, a wonderful memorial.
Yeah.
We inspected it yesterday, and it is only partially constructed. And could I add an adjective of magnificent of this wonderful description? This is got to be the ultimate memorial.
Well, let's always record that part of it will be from a Halifax Bomber for the roofing area that you, Carl, imagine, and he brought it forth to us 5 or 6 years ago, and we filmed it in the RAF Club across the road from here. What a marvellous moment that was. I still remember holding that ingot, and the most marvellous, creditable moment for the Canadians.
That's right, and we are so proud to be part of the Bomber Command Memorial and to do our contribution from Canada in the form of these aluminium ingots, and to think that in 1997 those ingots could have gone to the tip pile, but we said no, we must keep them for memorials, plaques and statues, and here we are today. So the essence of 8 men is in those aluminium ingots, and we're so pleased that they could become part of the roof of the memorial. What do you think people will think when they find out that this bomber is incorporated into the memorial?
Well, they will be honoured by this. I mean, the very fact that we have a piece of a bomber out of the thousands that were blown out of the sky in the memorial. What a credit to Canada that you've been, all this work you've done, Carl, to get it here, okay, and pursue it right to the end. And it's going to be the dome roof where the 7 aircrew looking up at it. They will be looking at the area of that Belgian Halifax. What a credit it is to you and the Canadians.
Well, thank you very much, Douglas, and the Bomber Command Museum of Canada is very proud to pass this historic aluminium on to you and your comrades for inclusion. So it's just wonderful that this is unfolding the way it is.
Well, to borrow a phrase from Winston Churchill, I think there can be no doubt that that period between 1939 and 1945 was our finest hour. And the freedom that those young volunteers earned for us has meant that Europe has essentially been in peace now for a good 67 years, and that's the longest it's ever known. I'm sure each one of those guys, young men of average age 22, would be absolutely delighted to see this monument erected on behalf of them and all their colleagues who did their duty, yet paid the ultimate sacrifice.
What do you think the Bomber Command Memorial will mean to generations that will be growing up after we're gone?
Well, Carl, I can't talk for 50 or 100 years ahead, but even now, with the press and what is happening throughout the Commonwealth, there's an attachment and it's growing, and people are suddenly become aware who weren't aware before of these great losses. They were not aware, or indeed of all the other losses that took place during World War II. They will remember that and never ever forget it.